Hey everyone. I've been thinking, why is it so hard to find a show you really like? So there's all this stuff out there, all this, anime and manga coming out, but finding something is incredibly difficult, Like actually finding something that will resonate, that you can really enjoy, like something where you watch the first episode or the first 10 minutes and you're like, you know what? This is something that I want to continue to engage with. Why is that so hard? Or is there a way to make it easier to find those things? Like one of the things that bothered me about it was just how much I couldn't find what I feel like I'm looking for. Like some sort of show that will just resonate so deeply where I'll be like, where have you been all my life? That kind of show. And it comes about every now and then, but it doesn't come about often. I started thinking, well, is it because people just aren't making good shows? Is that the issue? Is it just bad content? Like what exactly is like the issue? Why can't I find it? Well, the thing I'm asking for, this series that will internally resonate, it's pretty rare, right? Like it doesn't happen every so often. So is the thing that I'm perhaps needing patience? First I thought, nah, that can't be it, because, well, if I do like sift through a bunch of shows, I'll find something that's like an 8 out of 10, maybe, like I'll find something that does kind of resonate. But yeah, but then it kind of keeps coming to me how, well, I'm not really satisfied with that. And so I'll come back to that place of like, why can't I find that 10 out of 10 show? Like the most recent one, at least for myself, that I found was Ping Pong the Animation. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And then I was like, finally I found something that just really feels like a show that was made for me. And as I kept thinking about, that idea, like something being made for me, a show that internally resonates, I was thinking about like how rare it would actually be to find something like that, or to expect that very often. How I kind of feel like I'm asking the world for too much in a certain way, like they're your favorites for a reason, right? It's because they don't come out every so often. And it's not even about like the quality of the shows, right? It's just there's this inner resonance that happens when you find that thing. So now I'm kind of moving towards maybe it's patience. Maybe it's actually too much to expect that you will find something that resonates so deeply. Because if it was so easy, not even if it was so easy to make, but if there was an abundance of those kinds of shows, then, well, it would be great in terms of like all these things to consume, but it doesn't seem to match up with reality. At the end of the day, something that really resonates and something that really sticks, it's rare. So, and it's supposed to be, I think, because what I'm kind of asking for is that my sense of self, or my interiority, is kind of yearning for it to be reflected in like a show that I'm watching, right? That's what it means to have like an internal resonance with a show that's out there. That requires the author or the creator to be someone that I would also resonate with. So there's all these kind of boxes to tick, like the pacing would have to align with my specific tastes of how I want the pace to actually be. the the color of the show, the dialogue, the way the characters interact, the atmosphere, like all these really specific things. If you think about it, because of just how diverse people are and how many people make TV shows or series or manga, there's no way you wouldn't have like a plethora of different styled shows to actually experience. So wanting to find like shows that will internally resonate all the time isn't feasible, not all the time. So then if it's not actually available that often, it kind of comes to me like, well then, would I be okay with just watching something that only resonates somewhat? Or would I rather put my time into something else? And I think that's like the important question, because it kind of requires the person to kind of actually analyze how one spends their time. Do I keep searching for something and being like, you know what, that's a 7, that's an 8. Ooh, that was a 8.3, or something like that. Do I watch a show that is an 8 and then 10 days go by and then I forget about it? Like, is there any value in that? I mean, and I'm coming from this place of someone who wants to just kind of experience the entertainment, me and just the entertainment. So I'm not talking about like, hanging out with friends and then watching something. I mean, like there's other things going on there, like there's other value to be had. Like, you're not just watching something at that point, you're also like experiencing your friendship with the people around you, like that's different. What I'm talking about is more of like an isolated experience where it's just you and the screen and you're wanting like this connection with what you're watching. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking that the thing that's really, really required is that patience, at least for myself, because I don't think I really want to spend a lot of time connecting with something that I only think is an 8 out of 10. And once again, when I say 8 out of 10, I'm not talking about quality. I'm not talking about how good or how well constructed something is. I just don't think that's like a useful way to kind of look at one's relationship with art. I think it's just a lens to look at stuff. So it has its use, but I think it's just a lens. And the lens that I find myself gravitating towards is more of like a personal connection rather than how good something is. Not that those two things can't overlap. Obviously everything I think I have a personal connection with and everything I think I enjoy, I think it's good. So there's no reason for me to think otherwise. I mean, why would I? Even if I engage someone and they say what I like is shit, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's more like, well, I don't care. I like it. Like, I can take in what they're saying. I can, kind of ruminate on their points. I can see flaws in the shows that I like. That's fine. But, it's just not about that. Like, it's not about, how good or well constructed something is, I'm really talking about like the rarity of finding something that internally resonates. Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be rare. I think it's supposed to be like kind of special in a way. And I think, at least for myself, it's calling me to kind of stop the search and to just let like the show or the series arise on its own. And when I say that, I don't mean like I'm not going to scour the internet for stuff that I like. Of course I will. Like, I think that's definitely worth doing. But I'm not going to have that expectation that I would find it even after 2 hours of searching. It might just not be made, or it might just not be translated, Instead, I think I'm going to focus just on, other parts of life. Not that I haven't been, but And, this realization, I guess, it's not particularly profound. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to focus on other stuff. But at least for myself, it's this question of like, why don't I resonate with some of the stuff that's popular right now? Why don't I resonate with something that I feel like I should be enjoying, But it's like, I'm not. Or like, why is something that was a good time ultimately something that my mind's going, even though it was a good time, it wasn't ultimately worthwhile? It kind of sounds like, at least for myself, that I should be just branching out into other parts of life and kind of exploring in that way, and not really expecting that the shows that I really hold dear will appear very quickly. I think they'll come at the pace that they need to come. And I think that I need to be content with that. I think that's probably the most important thing. This is very much just like a random discussion about what is reasonable to expect from any form of like entertainment industry. Are you always should you be expecting something like amazing all the time, or should you just not? Should you assume that majority of it is just not going to resonate in the way you want it to resonate? Like, is that an okay stance? At least like what I've arrived to myself is, yeah, that's fine, but part of having that perspective is just being like, well, I gotta wait, like if that's going to be my perspective, then part of it is that I just need to wait, but if I disagree with that and I go, you know what, I think there is a plethora of stuff, even if it's a 7 or 8, and I'm still going to indulge in that way, then from that perspective, patience doesn't really need to be cultivated, because there is plenty of things that one can enjoy. Like, I'm coming from this place where I'm not enjoying it, even if I think it's good, or even if I think it's like well crafted. I find myself just being like, well, it's not ping pong, or it's not Baccano, or it's not boogie pop. It's not even like the comparison point. It's just more like, this isn't resonating in the same way those things are resonating. Why should I even bother? When like why not just reread something or rewatch something that I think is already like 10 out of 10. Like, I personally find that I get way more value from just rewatching stuff or rereading stuff, or just digging deeper into the things that I already like than venturing outwards. Which is kind of funny, right? Because what I'm saying is like, the solution to this for myself was to stop expecting, which makes sense, but then is also to like venture outwards and try other stuff and see if there's more value to be had in other areas of life. It's not like it's not like I like dedicated my life to watching shows. I mean, I'm not doing that. It's just I have this like expectation that that things that internally resonate would come more often. And I'm finding that that's not the case, and that's calling me to expand. So yeah, I just wanted to get that idea kind of off my chest. Just kind of put it out there, see if people resonate, or if people think it's like, I don't know, pretentious or whatever. I'm keen to see what people think. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult to follow. I was pretty rambly about it. Didn't have a script or anything for it, so I just kind of threw it out there. But yeah, keen to see what you guys think. So thank you for listening. All right, laters.